make a romantic Valentine's dinner under $5? Let's see. So for Christmas, I got this new ISILER Pasta Machine. And as many of you know, I've had knee surgery, so I really haven't been up to trying it out and using it. But I've decided today that I am gonna make the best fettucine pasta meal, and I'm gonna do it all from things I have on hand and a few things that I've purchased. So I hope you'll join me today. I hope this is something that you might wanna give a try and kind of think outside the box for Valentine's Day without spending hundreds of dollars on dinner or going to a fancy restaurant. I've got some ways that maybe you can do it with things you have on hand to make it really special. So we're gonna be making our pasta from scratch. It's gonna be fresh and delicious, and I just wanna show you how easy this thing is to put together. So basically I have a little thing that I put on the edge here that's just gonna keep our pasta machine stable. I just put it on the edge of my counter, and then it comes with a separate piece which will actually cut your pasta for you, and all you're gonna do is slide it into these two little, kind of like little hook things. Slide it in, nice and tight. And then it's got a handle. All we're gonna do is put the handle in, and voila, you've got your pasta machine. So we're gonna start off with about 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And to that, all I'm gonna do is kind of make a little well in the middle of my flour. And then I'm going to add 2 eggs to my flour. You want to just drop them right in the middle of your flour mixture. Just like this. You're going to start off just kind of mixing your eggs together, and all you want to do is add a little bit of flour as you're mixing up your eggs. And this is a good example. You can see I kind of didn't make my well quite thick enough, which is fine. You're going to see it's going to come out absolutely perfect, so don't worry about this. Now to this, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil before we finish mixing it up. A little bit, just maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of salt. Now I use pink Himalayan sea salt, but you can use any kind of table salt or what have you. So we're gonna go ahead and just keep mixing this up. Add a little bit more flour each time you're mixing, just like this. As soon as you kind of get your eggs mixed up, all we're gonna do is take your clean hands and start putting your eggs and your flour together. This is when, if you've got any that's kind of pulled away from the flour, just kind of pull it up. This is very, very easy. You're basically just mixing this flour and egg right on your board. And you want to make sure that you mix up all the olive oil and all of the salt as you're going through this. Now what you're trying to do is bring this to kind of a soft ball. As you can see, it's not really holding together too good at this point. Not a problem though, because what we're gonna do is add some water. Now, if this had been real, wet, this dough had been real wet, then what we do is add a little bit more flour. So let me get a little bit of water and show you how I do this. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of water, just put my hands in it, and all I'm gonna do is just bring this dough together. I want it to come together kind of like you would see a bread dough or something like that. We're not quite there yet. Bring a little bit more water. All right, so now it's really coming together good. If you have a knife or a scraper or anything like that, we're gonna go ahead and use that to scrape up all the flour and all the pasta from the bottom of this board. And the reason is because honestly, there's just a ton of flour and pasta that we want to make sure we get it all up. All right. Just like that. Easy, easy. All right. so let's start pulling this together. And all we're gonna do is knead this until we get it into a nice soft dough. And you're gonna see, this is gonna come together. This is gonna be a really nice pasta dough. It's hard to imagine it now because it just kind of looks like a mess, but it's not gonna stay a mess. And we're just gonna pick up our little pieces as we go through this process. See already how much different the board looks? And we're gonna knead this dough, honestly, for about 8 to 10 minutes. So just be prepared. You wanna bring this dough together. Now I've got a little bit on my hands. You can see now why we said clean hands. Because half of your pasta comes off on your fingers. Now you don't want a super sticky dough, but you also don't want a real dry dough either. So that's why I keep kind of pulling up a little bit of this flour, and you can kind of tell how it feels, how it's coming together as you knead it. All right, so we've got a nice little pasta here. We're gonna let it rest for a couple minutes. So all I'm gonna do is just throw it down on the board here. Just gonna get a little bit of flour on it. And we're just gonna let it rest, and I'm gonna cover it with a towel. So while we are waiting for our water to boil and get started making our pasta, I'm gonna go ahead and pick some lettuce, which I have growing in my hydroponic grower up here in the window. So I've cleaned my lettuce, and I just added a little bit of ice to the bowl, and this is really just to kind of crisp the lettuce up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that lettuce nice and crispy, and then you'll see how we make our salad. All right, so the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna take I'm still gonna keep some flour close by. I'm just gonna cut these little doughs into about 1-inch pieces, because that's what I'm gonna need to run through my pasta maker. So I'm gonna take one, and I'm just gonna cover the other ones up so that they don't dry out. Just like this. All right, and we're gonna put a little bit of flour down on our board. And we're gonna just get our pasta the way we want it. So I'm gonna make 4 different sets of pasta. I don't know if we'll eat them all tonight, but if we don't, then I'll freeze them, and I'll show you how this works. It's very easy, it's kind of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, so I kind of flattened it out a little bit so I can put it through my machine. Okay, so our little machine here has some numbers. The lower that they are, the bigger the pieces, but you can, move them up to whatever size you like, but I'm gonna start with a nice big number. I'm gonna put this on number 1. And I'm just gonna feed this right through the machine. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Again, I'm not gonna put a ton of flour on it, but I'm just gonna kind of lay it in the flour so it doesn't stick. Now I'm gonna pull this out, and I'm gonna put it on 4. I wanna start making these a little bit smaller. A little bit thinner. Now I'm gonna go one more level. I'm gonna take this to 6. And I am gonna run it through the machine one more time. There you go. And let me show you what I do with this long piece. So that was just a very small piece of pasta. I'm gonna cut this in half, and then I'm gonna run it through the noodle cutter. So to this, you actually want to take this little arm out and you want to put this in here so that we can turn our pasta into little pieces. So I'm just going to put it through this little piece here, and I'm going to cut it, and you'll see how it's going to look. Get my hand under here so I can catch them. All right. All right, that's about the length of the pasta that I want. See how nice those look? Now you can do spaghetti-sized pasta, you can do fettuccine, you can do lasagna, whatever it is you want to make, that's what you can put together. You can make these as long or as short as you want them. There you go. So that's my first little nest of pasta. This is how much I got from that one little bit. Just like this, like a little nest, like a little bird's nest. And I'm just gonna let it sit there for a couple of minutes while I do the rest of these. I did a few nests of fettuccine. I'm gonna show you how the spaghetti works. It's just as easy. Now this is just gonna be a very fine spaghetti. Look how beautiful that is. Now I've got quite a bit of spaghetti, so I am going to just run it all through. And one more, a little bit more flour. Now the nice part about the flour for pasta, it's not like bread. Once you put it in your boiling water, the flour is going to boil off. So don't worry about there being too much flour. It's just very easy. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and put this in some boiling water, fresh, just like this, and then I'm gonna heat up my pasta mix. Now again, to save money and make this a really delicious meal, I've canned my own pasta sauce over the summer. These were my homegrown tomatoes, so this stuff is, it's like a garlic basil pasta sauce. I'm just gonna heat it up over the stove. I've decided to save this fettuccine for another night. So all I'm gonna do is put it in a nice flat container and I'm gonna throw it in the freezer. And when I'm ready to have pasta, you boil your water and put this in frozen and it's gonna be just like the day you made it. My water's boiling, so all I'm gonna do is put my noodles right down into the water. Just like this. All right, I'm gonna bring this back up into a boil, and I'm gonna boil these noodles until they're al dente. And you're gonna see this meal is really gonna come together. We're just gonna let this pasta continue. Okay, our pasta noodles are done. We're gonna go ahead and drain them. And I'm gonna show you how we present this dinner. All right, I'm just going to plate up some of these noodles. Oh, looks so good. There we go. All right, now we're gonna put some of our fresh pasta sauce on it. I'm gonna put a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's give this a try. Smells delicious. Wow, that is unbelievably amazing. I made some garlic bread out of some sourdough bread that I made. I've got my salad that I grew. I've got my pasta that I made along with the sauce I made from the summer, and it's delicious. So I'm going to do a breakdown of the price of everything just as soon as I put that down in the description below. And I hope that your Valentine's Day is special. Remember, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have something really nice and really special. Enjoy. If you're not a subscriber and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'm going to leave a link below. Just feel free to give me a like, a share, or a thumbs up. And you can also ring the bell for future notifications. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.